stuff. So, okay. Well, thank you for joining me with Welcome to DATABEX. My name is Rachel Pratt. I'm Vice President of Operations here with BEX, and you are going to be watching our Introduction to DATABEX webinar. I'm going to go over some of our transition agenda, as well as kind of the dive into the actual database lessons and give you some tips and tricks on how to use the database. So the transition kind of will be, if you're familiar with version 1, then you'll be able to navigate version 2 pretty easily. There are some differences, some similarities, and some new features, and I'll go over all of those as well. And we'll also dive into some project searches, some company searches, solicitation searches, map searches, all that fun stuff. So let's get started. I have a screen up that I want to share with you, so let me go ahead and do that. So Jeff, this is probably something that you saw when you got the link to switch over to version 2 is the transition page.
I did.
And this is a video I put together for everybody to just kind of get familiar with how everything's going to work and, you know, what the differences and stuff are. And then, of course, this is the webinar that we're talking about, like for Q&A sessions. Every Friday I have this webinar, so if you ever want to get refreshed on anything, just go ahead and join in. We are going to have, you know, little things we're working out in the meantime. We've actually worked out a lot of them already. So if you find a bug or anything like that, you just shoot me an email. I'm easy to get a hold of. I have contact information here at the contact link at the top right corner of the menu. And of course, this is where you would create a new password. And that would give you access to version 2. Now, when you do get into version 2, remember to update your bookmarks on your browser, because a lot of people will be still trying to log into version 1 with their credentials, and you can no longer log into version 1 after you've set up your version 2 account. So we are actually discontinuing the ASBEX database. We're trying to kind of switch everyone over before we stop servicing and stop supporting version 1. So this is kind of our way of kind of nudging you a little bit. You can't go back into version 1. So let's go ahead and sign in. Alrighty, so big difference from version 1, we have a dashboard now, which is really nice. And it is actually custom to your account. You can see in these purple buttons right here that we have individual numbers that are catered to what is in your account. So I have 8 saved searches. I have 17 projects I'm following, 7 projects I've expressed interest in, and then I also have 6 project notes that I've left that I can access. These are shortcuts to the actual pages with all of those listed. This will bring you back to the dashboard, and this will bring you back to the dashboard. These are kind of the same links here. We do have something new in version 2 for project ID search. Now, the project ID is something that we use as an internal number for BEX that we can track the projects. It's just like a 3 or 4 digit number that we can just easily type in, press enter, and open up a project profile. So it's like a quick access. And then, of course, we have new navigation for version 2, which beats version 1 100 times. Version 1 was so cumbersome. You had to go into one button to go into a page. It had more buttons that you would click on to take you to another page. No, we're not doing that anymore. We've consolidated all of our menus into the top menu, and you can access the detail search for projects, keyword search, the map search, and then you can even check out recent activity, which includes added projects and updated projects. And we have company search, contact search, and then a solicitation search as well. Reports is something that we are kind of in the process of developing, so I'm not going to go over that too much at the moment, but if you want to inquire about it, you can contact Rebecca or I. So every account has at least one manager that has been assigned to their account, which helps them manage their own users and their own account. So I'll go into that in a little bit, but I did want to give you an overview. And then, of course, contact us. This is going to be a link to my contact information as well as Rebecca's. And this is my account and all of my specific preferences and all that stuff. And there's lots of stuff in here, and we will definitely cover that as well. Underneath our shortcut buttons, we have our saved search for keywords. We can type in any keyword we want, and we can also save it if we'd like as well. This is going to be the webinar that you're watching right now. I will update it periodically as things are developed and changed. And here are our main search buttons: projects, companies, contacts, solicitations, and then we have a map search as well for projects. And then at the bottom of our dashboard, we have our recently added projects, so you can always keep in touch with what is being entered into the database. Alrighty. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start off with a project search, and we will start off by project details.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Go for it.
On the dashboard, will all my stuff from version 1 move over to version 2?
Yes, and that's why
it went past me.
Yeah, that's why you have to set up the new account. And what that does is it literally takes all of your information from version 1, all of your saved searches, your followed projects, and then it imports them into version 2. So yes, good question. All right, Jeff, just for you, I know that you work in tribal and you do low voltage, right?
We do.
Okay. So let's go ahead and search for some tribal projects. We've actually added that.
Well, you know what? I don't do any tribal projects.
Oh, you don't?
No, our company does, but I don't get, because those are like, that's free money, and they've decided they're not paying me commission on free money.
I understand. So what are you looking for then? Just
everything off our community.
Everything except tribal?
Right.
Okay. Do you go after public and private work?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So then we'll leave sector open since there isn't anything specific we're looking for. And then when you do it, you are looking for a project when the design firm and general contractor have been selected?
Well, you know what? I found that we should go as early as possible. So right after, as they're searching, I try to contact everybody to get in line. And then when a GC is selected, then makes it usually easier to, or it's really quick, right? They're selected, boom, I'm right there.
Okay, all right. Well, then we won't filter by contract availability. This form does work for both the narrow and broad search so that you can focus on just an individual project, or you can get a list of projects. So the form is built that way, so we didn't have two different forms. So that is an option for you. The multi-select is a little different from version 1. You actually just open this up and then click on whatever you want and it populates into the field. You don't have to control click on this one. To unselect it, you can select it again, or you can click on the X next to the actual name. And that goes with the project status as well, market, and divisions. So you do work in divisions, so that might actually be a good fit for you. Let's go down to, where we go? 27. What do you do? Which
27.
one? 25?
7.
27. Okay. All right. I wanted to narrow it down for you a little bit more. I actually had a project in mind that I was looking at, and it is a tribal project, but that won't work for you anymore.
Well, we might be doing it.
Right?
Oh, I'm sure we're doing it. I mean,
okay.
We get 93% of that tribal work.
It's 2426. I'm going to type in, I wrote the project ID down just so that I could remember to check it out for you. 2426. So this is a fire station, I think. Yeah, police and fire station for San Xavier. Does that sound familiar?
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't really get into them, but I would. Chances are we are going to be doing that.
Fair enough. Okay, I do know that there was a sub-bid request from FCI and Low Mountain Construction. And let's see. Well, let me go over the project profile for you real quick. Okay, so all the project profiles are going to have a rendering when they're available. You can click on the rendering in this little menu item to open it up to see the full view. Some of them get cut off if they're kind of rotated or portrait oriented. They do get a little funky, especially from the CIP projects. We just get like really crappy images and that's all we have. But what's really neat is this timeline that we've added for version 2.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, we started adding the events. We call them events that populate the timeline. And you can have a single date event, which would be like a pre-bid meeting or a due date or something like that. And then this one doesn't have a great example of it, but I'll get into it in a minute. Other ones are ranges, so you'll see they're colored sections. I'll get into another project that has it. But it's really easy to identify where you are in the project compared to the timeline, because we've had this indication of the today marker. So you know, okay, bids were due on 1/24 and it's now July. You would think it would be awarded by now, but you can check this out. This is really cool. So a lot of the times we check on projects and we don't actually get updates, like people aren't calling us back or whatever their case may be. This last checked on is really useful for you to see when it was the last time we checked in on a project. Now, I did check the back end and our researcher tracking notes to know that they have been trying to reach out to this tribal company, or this, what was it? I will murder this name every time I try to say it. Tohono O'odham.
That's actually very good.
I
Too
just
busy
called
fighting with the
Teodum.
Trump administration over the wall.
What is it?
They're too busy fighting with the Trump administration over the building the wall.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably why they're not calling back.
Well, I guess that she called and they said they were at like 50% capacity and they're not really working that much in the office and it's hard to get a hold of anybody. But anyway, that's pretty normal for a lot of things right now, because nobody's in the office and everyone's freaking out. It's, like you said earlier, a very strange time. It's crazy. So I did kind of lose my train of thought here real quick.
Sorry.
Timeline, no worries. The first section you'll see after the timeline is kind of like the name of the project, and then here's our project ID that we love so much. You can PDF these projects just like you can in version 1. We've added in the rendering this time, so you can see. I'll do that one as well. The followed project button, which I'm sure you're familiar with. You know what that does. You follow the project and you get email notifications anytime the project is updated by one of our researchers. And then, of course, you can submit us an update, or you can submit us a question. You can also check in on the project if you're wondering what's going on, like you haven't seen any activity. You can shoot us an email with this, and then that's like priority 1. We always we always work on those first when we get them. If a subscriber has an inquiry about a specific project, that moves up to our priority. So just keep that in mind. If you have anything you want to submit, you can also use that button. Any way you want to communicate with us on a certain project, you just have to submit an update. Now, the last update sent on is the last time this project had an update sent out to the followers. So that's the difference between last checked on and last update sent on. This is the last time our researchers have looked into the project. This is the last time we got an update on the project and it was sent out to followers. And we have status over here. Alrighty, thank you, Rebecca. I see we have all of our attendees in attendance now. Yay! Hi, Debbie. Glad you made it. Who else do we got? And Natalie Perry, nice to see you there. All right, I'm gonna keep going. We have our on the job section, which looks very similar to the on the job section that we have in the magazine. If you're familiar with the magazine, it'll give us the owner, the design firm, and the prime contractor. Project details, this is going to be the square footage, the sector, the method of delivery, the estimated valuation, the market sectors, the address, and a brief project description. Underneath that, you'll get a detailed description and then any notes, additional notes, and then divisions for the project as well. Below you will get the contacts. The dash here, I want to let you know, is just our way of adding the actual company without having a name or a contact added to it. That's just our way of saying we know who the actual engineer was, but we don't have the contact for them. I want to actually run back since we have everyone here with us now. I'm going to head back and I accidentally closed out the one I needed. Here's that PDF I was talking about. We have that rendering added, and we add all this fundamental information into the PDF too. So you have the project description, the address, the owner, the project status, the status notes, and the contacts. where it's located, the divisions, and then any solicitations added. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and get back into my search. I'm going to head back to the project search by details. And I'm going to go ahead and search for, well, let me go through this actual form for you. Just to kind of cover a couple of things. This is a saved search option. You can save this search, just name it, give it a name, and then when you press the submit button down here, it'll actually save this to your account. Now, what's really nice about the saved searches, for those of you that aren't familiar, is that there is a thing we have called a digest. It's a weekly digest or a daily digest. And what it does is it takes all of those saved searches and then it searches them daily or weekly and brings back results that are brand new to the database or have been recently updated. So that's a really useful tool to stay on top of all of the projects that you have or are searching for inside of your saved searches. You can search for project name or owner. So this will be a really good way to narrow search. If you're looking for a specific project, you can search by owner as well. This actually populates and you just click on the project or the company name that you're actually looking to find. So maybe if I wanted to find ADOT project, for example, I could just solidify my selection and then move on to other criteria. I can search by city, state, zip code, and then sector. We've added in a few different sectors. It wasn't just public and private like it was in version 1. We've actually divvied it up between federal and tribal, and then we've added in the P3 there as well. So we have lots of different sectors to choose from. Design and construction contract availability. If you are a design firm or a prime contractor and you're just looking for projects that have that contract available, you just click on available and then put in your criteria. So that's a nice way to kind of just weed out all the projects that aren't a good fit. Method of delivery, project status, market, and divisions. These are all multi-select options. And you just click and click the X to remove if you don't want them. Project status, we've removed all the requesting statuses from version 2 and we've added those as actual solicitation statuses. So if you're looking for something, we've actually simplified the project statuses a lot inside of version 2. Divisions, first level of divisions are searchable here. And then of course you can search by estimated value from a low to a high end, as well as the square footage from a low to high end. All right, so let's go ahead and search for, I want to search for, I guess I don't need to sector. I'm going to look for, and I actually wrote down.
Rachel.
Yep.
If you put a search in there for divisions, for any particular division, you'll get everything for that division in your database?
Yeah.
Oh, we're done.
Yeah, if it's assigned to the project, it'll come up in the results, definitely. All right, so I'm going to look for projects that, in a project status that have been added to CIP or in the planning stages. In the market of, let's see, roadway, flood control, and transit. And, oh, you know what else I want to do is master plan. This was kind of catered to Western Technologies and Perry Engineering, because I know you are both in kind of civil sector. So let's check out what we've got. Oh, I accidentally clicked on save search. Oh, I got to do it again. Let's try this again. And project status added to CIP and planning. Now, because I selected planning here, it's going to pick up this one as well because pre-planning has the word planning inside of it. Just keep that in mind. And we search. All right, so we've got quite a lot of results, 122, but keep in mind, we're displaying all the projects in the database. So I want to make sure I'm just getting those active projects only. But since we did select the status of planning and added to CIP, this number really should not change. Okay, we have a lot of projects in here. I'm going to go over this results page for you. We have a search again option. Again, this will filter out the completed projects, or if you want to see the completed projects, you select that and then press the filter button. This is downloadable. Anywhere you see a table, you can download the information. In version 2, you can download as a CSV and as a PDF in all of these places that have a download option, which is really cool. And the CSV file will give you the same information for project searches all across the database. And what that is, project name, project ID, the owner, the valuation, the city, state, the status, the market, the square footage, and the design firm, and then the prime contractor if they are selected. This is a new one too. We've added in. It's excuse me. If you're following the project, it will notify you as well. I'm not following any of these that are in view, so it's not showing that I am. But this right here, this little eyeball here is also my indicator that I'm following a project. So I could go into this I-10 Ina Road in Rough Raft, and I can follow this project. And then when I update my results here, I'm going to reload the page. You'll see that that icon has now turned purple. That icon looks exactly like the icon on my dashboard, which I'm not going to get to at the moment. I don't want to lose this. I'll open in a new tab. There we go. There's that eyeball I was talking about. So I have added that project to my following list. And now I will get updates whenever they are updated by our researchers. Since we're in here, let's go ahead and dive in. Or is this the one I wanted to look at? 2905. Yeah, we can look at this one. That's for sure. That works. So you can see on that timeline, as I was talking about earlier, you have individual events with these diamond markers. And then we have ranges of time or range of date range, which are indicated by these large colored blocks. So we know that the funding was allocated for design during this time. And then we have funding allocated for construction during this time. I have planning, design, and construction in my timeline. This is the today indicator. You can see that the RFQ was just advertised 3 days ago, and they're due on 7/14. So you can get an idea of what's happening with this project really quickly just by glancing at that timeline.
Love that.
Of course, we do have this rendering up here, and this is an example I was talking about where we've grabbed it from the CIP, and it's just awful. So I click on the rendering and it shrinks it down for me, and it actually makes it a little bit more easier to look at. But I'm going to, I wanted to add in that these will be like shortcut buttons to the sections within the project profile. So if I just want to go straight to contacts, I just click on that and it's going to take me to those contacts. I'm going to head back up here. I think I already went over kind of the last checked on and last updated on, so I won't do that again, but I will kind of dive into the rest of the project. You can see that the design firm has not yet been selected. Prime is not yet selected either, which kind of matches our vernacular or our jargon that we use in the magazine as well. Here's the project details. Construction is anticipated to start in 2022. We have an open solicitation with this project that we can see right here. If we had a link to a website for the project, this is where we would add any links. Any links that are related to this project, this is where we would add those in. The status notes, I kind of touched on this a little bit. The status is in planning, and then we've also added in that status of the any open solicitations or any solicitations that have closed. You'll see, okay, yeah, there's an RFQ for design, and now it's open. And we can come down to the solicitation section, and I'll open that up in just a minute for us to check out. The latest status note that we have is from ADOT, that they're requesting the final design services until 2 p.m. on 7/14. And if you want to see previous status notes, you just open this up. There isn't any on this one, so let's keep going. Let's check out that solicitation that we keep talking about. So this is the RFQ for design, and then you can see we've added in that timeline into the solicitation view, just for quick reference. You can unfollow the project from here or go back to the project. We've clearly defined this as an RFQ for design that is open, and they're looking for final design services. We have the solicitation details here, and this includes all the due dates, the request description, if there's a pre-submittal conference. Let me zoom in just a little bit for you guys. Here we go. Now this one has a DBE goal established, so we will always mention that in the notes somewhere in the solicitation. And then we have a schedule for this one as well, so we can see when they are anticipating to actually award this as contract. When this has closed and we have a list of firms submitting or the awarded firm, we will add those lists, that list of firms submitting to here, and then clearly indicate which one was awarded. And then of course we have the solicitation files. And the files from version 1 to version 2 have changed dramatically. So if you remember from version 1, it was a folder with more folders in it that may or may not have files, and it was not friendly to navigate. But we had to set it up that way in order to make this version really nice for us to navigate. So we can see the individual files that are in each section. This is our solicitation folder. We have the final design RFQ and an amendment. You can view or download these. And if there was any other related solicitations for this one, for example, if there was a CMAR request or an invitation to bid, we would have that listed here for your reference. And of course, we always give you the contact for the solicitation. So I'm going to head back over to the project really quick because I want to show you a couple other things. We do have that contact, right? The contact, the actual person that is assigned to this project, like as a project manager or a project architect or the actual person that's working on the project. This one is the project supervisor. We have his email, his office, and his direct phone number. We will give you the role of the company and the service that they're providing. Below that, we have a map of the project. It is interactive. You can pan around to get familiar, zoom in and zoom out. And then down here, we have files for the actual project. So we have a rendering that we have. This is the same rendering we saw at the top. And then we have the pages from the tentative CIP, and we can view or download them. I'm gonna head back up here and then start going down this side. Underneath solicitations, we have a notes section. You can leave notes on projects, and you can leave notes on company profiles. These are shared or private. Now what that means is that if it's private, only you see it. If it's shared, you can actually share the information with team members that are also using the database. So if you share a note, it's now going to send an email to my team that are users in the database telling them that I left a note so we can communicate through the project easily. Associated projects is going to be a way for us to link projects together. So maybe they are part of a bigger master plan, or maybe they are part of a phased development. This is our way of enabling you to know what is going on, like who or how this project is associated to another project. Interested parties. This is going to be a way for us to communicate with other users of the database that we are interested in providing services on this project. So maybe I provide low voltage. I can add that to my services provided, say I'm interested. It's going to refresh the page, and now my contact information will be displayed for all database users to see on the interested parties section. And of course, you can also remove your interest if you don't want that displayed anymore. All right, I'm going to go ahead and keep going. We are going to do a search for, whoops, that's not what I meant to do. We're going to do a keyword search. Now, I don't know if you noticed this, but we have this search section up here, and we also have a project companies and solicitation shortcut search on the side here as well. Same thing, just different place, easy to get to. So again, we'll go into the keyword search. You can save this search. So there's 3 places in the database that you can save a search: project details, project keyword, and then the solicitation by detail search. So let's say I want to search for parking structures. Let's try that one. There we go. We're just going to go with parking. And that's what I'm going to name my search. And that's what I'm going to go ahead and search for. Now this is going to bring up all the projects that have parking inside of the actual details or the name or anywhere mentioned inside of the project profile. So you can see there's plenty in here. But remember, it's displaying all projects. So if you want to just filter active projects, you need to filter from here. There we go. 518 projects. So that's a lot. Obviously, parking is pretty important for projects. I'm going to go ahead and search for, let's see, we're going to search by location. And I had a plan and an agenda. And I think, Jeff, I think you threw me off a little bit. I'm not trying to make you feel bad, but, but I totally lost my rhythm.
I'm so sorry. From
it's okay.
I apologize.
It's fine.
There, I got you back.
All right, appreciate it. So here we go. The map search. Now, what this is doing is it's plotting every project that we have that's active in the database on one map for us to search. So just take a second. But you can see it's centered on my location in Tempe, and it's plotting all the active projects that are going on, which, my God, there is a lot. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit. You'll notice that some of these markers are blue and some of them are purple. The blue markers indicate that these are projects I'm actually following. So I know, okay, I don't have to look into that one. I'm following that one already. Another really cool feature with the maps is that you can actually create a custom list of projects just by clicking on them. So I can click on this, find that's into ISTB7. I like this. I want to add it to my list. This link here will take it to the project profile. So if I add it to my list, it's going to populate the projects below the map. Okay, I want to add this one as well. Populate it below the map, and etc. If I did want to open up one of these projects, I can just by clicking on that. This window is still open, so I can reference it again. This is going to take me to the project profile, right? So we've already been through the project profile layout. But you know what I didn't do? What I wanted to do was go into one of the links for the contacts. So the contacts are going to have the company and contact details. So this will take me to the company profile. And the company profile is going to give me all the information about the company from the URL of the actual website, the company type, and then the markets they work in too. We'll have a, yeah, I'm thrown off here. We'll have, sorry. We'll have a logo. We have the offices that that are listed inside of the database. Now keep in mind, we're not trying to create a profile for the company that includes everybody in the company, all their offices. This is just what's actively in the database, meaning these are people that are assigned to the database projects or companies that have some kind of association to projects in here. Associated companies is a way for us to tell you that this company is also this company or is related to it in some way. For example, when a company gets acquired by another company, it can get confusing. So that's our way to really tell you this is also associated to another company. And that note section, like we did in the projects, you can do it for the companies as well. Now, there is contacts and active projects and completed projects in this profile. Contacts, this will give you the details of the individual. We'll see what, this gives you the phone number and the email, that kind of information. And this is their Tucson office, so I'm gonna keep going. And then of course we have the active projects. These are projects that are currently under construction or in the planning or design phase. Anyway, they're not completed or canceled. So if they were completed or canceled, they would be down here. So you can actually see all the active projects that this company is working on right now. So we've got a bunch in here. These lead to the individual project profiles. And let's see, was there anything else I wanted to cover on this one? Just the fact that you can go straight to this information. So this is great. And again, everywhere you see this table, you can download the data, PDF or as a CSV file. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and see. I did want to kind of show you the PDF version as well. We do have these project IDs, the project name, just like we saw in that CSV file earlier. It's going to have the same information in here. So these all have design firms and prime contractors. Okay, I'm going to keep going. Let's go ahead and, yeah, we did go off a little on the tangent there. Okay. If you want to, you can download this list or you can print it as a PDF. This is that custom list that we created in the maps view. All right. I do want to mention to you that this right here will pan the map for you. So if I put in an address, it's going to pan the map where the address is located. It will not filter just one project out for you. However, you can filter by market sector in the map just by, clicking on one of these and clicking search. Then it will actually filter the markers. It doesn't just pan it. So that's a big difference that I want to make sure you're clear about with this particular button here, or this particular field. It just pans it. You can show your followed projects only, or you can show completed and canceled projects. Now the completed and canceled projects will show up, let me go ahead and delete those. They will show up as gray markers. So you saw that we had the blue ones that were indicating I'm following the project. The gray ones will be gray. I'm sorry, the completed ones will be gray. And I think there we go, it's not. There we go. So those are all the completed projects. Again, this one takes a minute to render because it's got so much data in it. But it's very useful. I love the map feature for when you're driving down the street and you see a project and you're like, I have no idea what that is. What is it? This is where you can go in and be like, okay, it was on the corner of 48th Street and Thomas. Where am I? Let's see, there's one there. Close enough. We'll go with 44th Street. So 40th, there's a Pinnacle Club mixed use project. Okay, what is this project about? And then you have all the details on it. That's one of my favorite uses for this particular map feature. Okay, let's keep going. Now, recent. So this is recent activity. This is going to be those added projects and the updated projects. This is the same list that you see on the dashboard for the added projects. Again, this is sortable as well. So if you wanted to sort by owner, you could mark it or when it was added. The ID I think is really useful because the higher the ID, the more recent the project is. Well, the more recent it's been added to the database. Let me clarify. Now, let me click on this one. I can also see which ones have been recently updated. Again, we have the download option for CSV and PDF, and we can sort, we can check out if we're following any of these projects, or we can click details and go to the project profile. Now I'm going to go to we've covered all the project searches. I'm going to go into a company search. Now this is a relational database, so you can get to companies from projects and projects from companies. But the searches will give you the results that you're looking for that specific search. So let's say I want to find, let's see, civil engineers that work in, let's see, Parks and Rec. Search. I can get a list of individual companies, or again, I can search for company name to search for a specific company. It's got the narrow and the broad approach to the search functions. This will take me to the company profile, and this will also take me to company profile. I can download this information, which might be useful, except it does not give you any addresses because there's multiple offices, and then it starts to become duplicated and then it gets messy. See, let's do, I don't even know, Burger ABAM. I don't even think I'm saying that right. Burger ABAM. There we go. All right, so this is it looks like their engineering firm. They're in San Diego. That might be why we haven't heard of them. They're not local, but they do have a contact in here with the contact details. And looks like they're working on the aircraft maintenance facility in Apron in Yuma, and it's under construction. So we can get an idea of how to go from projects to companies and companies to projects. I can just click on this one and go to that project. The beauty of a relational database. All right, so I'm going to keep moving on. Contacts, pretty much the same thing, except now you're going to get a list of contacts. So if I want to find all the people or all the contacts inside of Kitchell Corporation, I'm solidifying my selection, search, and now I have all these contacts for Kitchell, which there's 33 of, which is a lot. This is a really good one for your CRM system. You can download the data and it gives you the contact information and the name, company, all that good stuff. Or you can open up the actual details of the individual. And you can see we have Brad Anderson in here. We have his phone number. We have his LinkedIn information. So if he ever does leave Kitchell, you can check out to see if he's updated his LinkedIn for his new location. You can link to the company profile from here as well. And then of course we have the address he's assigned to. Now related projects, this is a new one for version 2. This is all the projects that he's been added to. So he's provided some kind of service, either design or director or whatever, on these 4 projects inside of the database, which is a really cool way to kind of reference each of those when you're talking to them. It's very useful. So that is the contact search. Now I'm going to keep going. Search by solicitation. Okay, so we can search by owner to see what is available. And this is a save search option, just to keep that in mind. And again, if I save this, I will get notified whenever new solicitations come up that fit my criteria. You can search for open or closed or awarded here. Now what this is open, it defaults to open because you're most likely looking for project solicitation leads. If you want to look for projects that have closed, or if you don't care, under review, for example, or canceled, these are all options, but just keep in mind by default, this is set to open solicitations. Now, if you want to look to see who was awarded or what firms have been submitting, you can click on this one here, closed and awarded, and it'll give you a list of all those. I'm going to just keep this one open to display all just for demo purposes. And let's see, we can sort by sector, by city, by market sector, vertical, education, healthcare. And one thing I want to mention to you is that if you are searching inside of the market sectors, you just need to know that if you select vertical, it's going to search all the verticals all the way down. If you search for vertical industrial warehouse manufacturing, it's just searching that one. However, if you get vertical industrial, it'll pick up the other industrial projects. So under industrial, network infrastructure, which actually is data centers, and then warehouse and manufacturing. So where am I? What did I select? Display all. Let's check out to see what RFQs are currently open. Now this RFQ is going to be RFQs for design or CMAR or other. It's just picking up the word RFQ. And I want open. Okay, here's my results. I have 6 projects that are currently requesting RFQs. We have development of a hotel resort, Gilbert Regional, Price Road, Loop 202 interchange, Keno South, I-10 Ena and Ruffrath. I think we looked at that one earlier. And then we can go click on details to go to the actual solicitation for the project. And I'm just going to keep moving on because I'm running behind schedule at the moment. Reports is something we're currently developing. If you have more questions about it, please reach out. The manager is going to be assigned to your account. This is what they'll see. They'll have this little option here. Now you can assign or deactivate users inside of your firm. So I can manage them here. I can search between them. If I wanted to remove access for individual that is assigned as a user, I can disable their access here. I can also assign them as a manager as well. You can check out who has been logging into the database to make sure that your users are actually using the service. I have been active this morning for sure. And then of course I can tell who else has been logging in and not. This is going to give us a brief view of our purchases, our license. We have purchased 20, which really is irrelevant since it's our database. And then it's going to give us the managers that are assigned to our account. So I'm assigned and then Rebecca is assigned as a manager. So those two, me and her, are the only ones that have this individual tab in our menu. Now I'm going to keep going into our account. My account button here is going to give me an overview of my account information, my profile, my preferences, the users in my company. Of course, you can see I have my first name, my last name, title, yada, yada. And then LinkedIn. If you don't already have this LinkedIn filled in, please fill it in so that we can keep track of you if you start moving around. And then, of course, this is the company subscription information. So it's Arizona Builders Exchange. Here's the office. We have a term of not applicable, and we have a max of 20 users, and our expiration date was whatever. I wish I had a better example. This is kind of, you know, we built the database, so we don't really have those restrictions on us personally. We do have the manager that is assigned to your billing on this one, which is really interesting. So it's a little different from managers that manage the users. This one manages the billing. Anyway, account preferences. I'm going to go over these really quickly. If you want to disable your shared note notifications from your other team members, you can just uncheck that. This is where you can opt in or opt out of the daily or weekly digest. Say I don't want the weekly digest anymore, I just want the daily. And then if you don't want to receive notifications from me about new developments, new features, any bugs, any maintenance down, that's what that's for. It's not for any kind of marketing purposes. It's just so I can communicate with you about what's happening with the database. And if you do want to change the email that all of those notifications are going to, you can add a new one here. But remember, if you make any changes here, you have to press save in order for it to actually save. And then just a list of the users. Also in my account is a list of all my project notes. This is the list that you would find from the shortcut button on your dashboard. You can delete the shared notes from here. Excuse me, you can delete the notes from here. They will not delete from the project. You have to do that inside of the project. But if you don't want to see them here, you can. And here's that note that I left earlier today. This was a shared note. It does tell you which one it is, if it's private or if it's shared, and then you can link to the project from here as well. And then the same for your company notes. Looks exactly the same, except now it's linking to your company that you left the note on instead of the project. And I don't have any here, which I keep forgetting to add some, so I apologize. I'm going to keep moving. Followed projects. This is a really cool list. This is new for version 2, at least some of the functionality is new for version 2. And let me put that down there because I keep moving it. What we've enabled this to do is add tags to your followed projects. So you can kind of individually search for them or filter them through these tags. For example, you can add multiple tags. One of the ways I've seen this being used is like a CRM system. So they'll start adding dates of when they need to check back on these projects and then search for those dates. So this one has 6/16/20. and it filters out all those projects that you need to contact someone or something like that on that day, whatever your date, whatever you set it up to do. You can leave notes inside of the project to remind you what you need to do. And you can also leave multiple tags on these to give you information about it, like contacted or hired or whatever. You create your own system that works for you. But that I thought was really creative. I always thought, well, it's just a good way to kind of print stuff. I just want to print a certain list, maybe go into a meeting with a PDF of certain projects. You can do that here as well. Just add the word, whatever that word is, and then you can search and filter for it. Another way I've seen this really useful being used is by regional sales managers, where you can actually assign projects to individuals on your team. So Sally, Bill, Tim, that kind of thing. And you can add as many tags as you want. There is no limit on this one. You just add them by clicking edit and mentioning the tag. So I can write whatever it is. I can write multiple, just separate them by a comma, update, voila, I have a tag. Also in that edit section is the notifications. If you do not want to be notified when projects are updated by a project that you're following, you can deactivate the notifications by unchecking the notify checkbox. So now I'm not going to receive notifications on this one, but I will on this one. So I hope that's nice and clear for everyone. You can also search by project name or ID here. And below followed, you'll find your interested projects. This is just a link to the project profile. And if you want to remove your interest on the project, you can. And then saved searches. So saved searches is going to give you 3 different categories, because there's 3 different areas you save your searches: by the project details, the keyword, or by solicitation. Each of these will give you the different selections or different searches that you have. I don't know if I have any. There we go, I have a couple. So you can search those searches from here. You can change the criteria. You can edit the criteria. So you just click on this. It'll open up, whoops. Oh, you can change, there it is. I guess you can just do it from here. That's awesome. So if you want to change what keyword they're actually searching for, you can do that from here. This is not the best one. Let me go back to projects, because it gives you the actual form, the search form. So if I wanted to change the criteria in that particular one, it'll open up the actual project search by details form. Then I can change whatever it is I need to change. Maybe I said, no, I want to do private instead, and then save. And now it updated. It's going to update for your saved searches and your digests. So remember, your saved searches are related to your digests. You get your saved searches, all of them searched every day or every week, depending on which frequency you choose. And it will return results that are new to the database or updated to the database in your search to your email, which is great. It's awesome. All right, so that's saved searches, and of course we have logged out. So I've kind of gone over all of the things I wanted to cover in the webinar, and I just would like to open it up for some Q&A. Let me go ahead and get everyone. Everyone is allowed to talk. Does anybody have any questions?
I don't. I probably will, but I don't now.
No questions? Is everyone just kind of overwhelmed?
It's good stuff. You're very good at this.
Good, thank you. Thank you very much. I mean, we're improving it all the time. Like, the developer does not stop working. We keep developing it and making it better and better. And a lot of the suggestions that we get are coming from subscribers like you. And we are happy to implement those when it works for, how we're working with the database. Definitely. Debbie, how are you doing? Did you get a good introduction to version 2?
Well, I did watch your video and the email you sent, and then this is kind of reinforcing it, but it seems like a beautiful system.
Yeah, we're really proud of it.
It's, yeah, it looks really in depth, so I'm going to have to play around with it.
Great.
And I know I can always call you. You're good about, you're a quick responder.
Yes, yes, definitely. All right. Well, if no one has any questions, then we can wrap this up. Again, if you do think of something later, or if you have a question while you're using the database, just reach out to me. Email is rpratt@azbex.com, or you can actually just reach out to the Contact Bex button on the menu at the top, and my contact information is there as well. There's a couple of emails that go straight to my inbox. One of them is help@ASBEX, the other one's support@ASBEX. So any of those will be come directly to me, and I'm very easy to get a hold of. All right, well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. I will go ahead and send out the recorded version to you as soon as I cut out all my ums and stuff like that. And then
All my stupid questions.
And then if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. And please, everybody, stay safe out there and stay healthy.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Talk to you soon.